Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into the ongoing restoration journey of Dan and his ambitious Chateau project in rural France. Many fans have been following his channel, watching as he tackles the massive task of breathing life back into a long-abandoned and fire-damaged chateau. But lately, a lot of viewers have started wondering, is Dan underestimating just how big this project really is? Let's unpack the realities of taking on such a huge renovation, the challenges Dan faces, and what that might mean for the future of the chateau and his channel. The dream and the reality. Dan bought this chateau with a lot of passion and clear vision. It's a beautiful old building with tons of history, originally built in the late 19th century, but unfortunately heavily damaged by fire and years of neglect. Many would see it as a lost cause, but Dan saw opportunity. From the beginning, it was clear this wasn't going to be an easy fix. The chateau is massive, with multiple floors, extensive structural damage, no roof, and zero utilities in place. Taking on such a project requires not only a skilled builder but also a huge time commitment, a steady cash flow, and a willingness to deal with unexpected problems every day. Dan's videos have always highlighted the grit and hard work behind the scenes. He's replaced beams, rebuilt roofs, managed plumbing, and worked on electricity. But many fans note that the scope of the work seems to grow larger with every update. As is common with old buildings, there's always another problem lurking around the corner. Is the scale bigger than expected? One key question is whether Dan may have initially underestimated the scale of work required. Renovation projects of this size often reveal hidden damage or complications once work begins. What might have started as a simple repair can quickly balloon into months or years of heavy construction. Viewers have observed that Dan's timeline has stretched significantly compared to his early estimates, where he may have hoped to complete certain phases in a matter of months. Those same phases have dragged on much longer. It's not unusual for historic renovations to take years, but some fans wonder if Dan's early optimism may have overlooked the full extent of the challenges ahead. For example, restoring structural integrity in an old building involves more than just swapping out beams. Foundations, walls, and roofing all require specialist skills, and delays are inevitable when dealing with old materials, local regulations, and the need to source appropriate restoration components. Dan's openness about setbacks, including supply chain issues and labor shortages, shows the complexity. However, the sheer size of the chateau adds another layer. Even with a dedicated team, progress can feel slow when tackling so many tasks at once. Financial realities. Another important factor is the financial strain of such a project. Dan's income from YouTube and Patreon helps fund the work, but the costs of materials, specialist contractors, and day-to-day expenses add up fast. Renovating a chateau is not like fixing a typical home. Everything is bigger, more complicated, and often more expensive. Fans appreciate that Dan is transparent about using Patreon support to keep the project moving. Yet, it's easy to underestimate how quickly funds can be consumed when you're balancing restoration, living expenses, and the unpredictability of the work itself. This raises questions about whether Dan's budget was sufficient for the long haul or if he's having to constantly reassess how to prioritize spending. Some viewers have speculated that the project might require additional funding sources or even a slowdown in progress until more capital is secured. Viewer reactions and expectations. Many followers of Dan's channel are impressed by his determination and skill. They admire his no-nonsense approach and the authenticity of his updates, which don't shy away from showing the hard, sometimes frustrating reality of renovation life. At the same time, some fans express concerns about the project timeline and progress. It's natural for viewers to want to see faster results, especially when invested emotionally in the chateau's revival. Comments often reflect a mix of patience and gentle nudges, supporters encouraging Dan to take the time needed but also wondering if the scope is just too big for one person to handle quickly. Some viewers wonder if Dan might be spreading himself too thin, balancing the restoration, content creation, family life, and funding efforts. That's a tough juggling act, and it could explain why the pace feels slower than initially hoped. Challenges specific to historic properties. It's also important to highlight that historic buildings come with unique challenges that often catch even experienced renovators off guard. Issues like outdated building codes, heritage preservation rules, and the need for special materials make every step more complicated. Dan's chateau was fire damaged and left to the elements for years, which increases the difficulty of restoration exponentially. Moisture damage, structural weaknesses, and possibly even local wildlife infestations all add hurdles. Moreover, working in rural France may limit access to specialists or quick deliveries of necessary materials. That can create frustrating delays and add costs. What could help moving forward? So what might help Dan navigate this massive project successfully? Many viewers suggest a few ideas. Phased restoration. Focusing on completing sections fully before moving on might provide visible progress and keep the project manageable. Bringing in more specialist contractors. While Dan is clearly skilled, some tasks might require extra hands or experts to speed things up safely and to code. Increased funding, whether through sponsorships, grants, or new revenue streams, more capital could help smooth out delays caused by resource shortages. Community engagement. Inviting fans or volunteers for certain non-specialist tasks might also provide support and foster deeper audience connection. Of course, Dan has shown resilience and a clear passion for the project, which are key ingredients for success. While the challenges are real, the slow pace doesn't mean the dream is unattainable. It simply means it's a marathon, not a sprint. Looking ahead, ultimately, viewers want to see Dan succeed, and many remain excited about the chateau's future. The passion behind this kind of restoration is inspiring. And even the setbacks offer valuable insight into what it takes to bring a piece of history back to life. Dan's transparency and down-to-earth approach help keep his audience grounded and engaged, which is no small feat in the world of renovation vlogging. Whether the project takes 3 years or 10, the story is compelling and a testament to dedication. If you're a fan of chateau restorations, rural living, or simply watching someone take on an epic building challenge, Dan's channel continues to be a fascinating watch. The scale may be daunting, but every beam replaced and every stone set is progress. Final thoughts: is Dan underestimating the scale of his chateau project? It's possible that the full extent only became clear once work was underway. But that's true of many historic renovations. Unexpected challenges are part of the process. What matters most is Dan's persistence, adaptability, and clear love for the project. As fans, we can continue to support by appreciating the reality behind the scenes and enjoying the journey as it unfolds. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this deep dive, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss future updates on chateau restorations and rural projects. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think Dan can bring this chateau back to life? Until next time, keep dreaming big and building strong.